So martial law and the Kuomintang coming to Taiwan and the 50 years that the Japanese were here, that's all part of Taiwan's history, which means it's all part of the psyche of the present-day Taiwanese. When I first got to Taiwan, I lived up in Waishuangxi, just north of Taipei. And I used to go hiking in the mountains, even back then. And all the old people in the mountains in the morning would be speaking Japanese to each other. You can leave comments, if you like, about politics. But two things. One is, you're never going to win an emotional argument with logic. Okay? So even if your argument is logical, you're not going to win the argument, because Taiwan's status as a country is an emotional issue. It's not a logical issue. You can't logically win it. I developed a style with my videos, and for me, the most fun part of the videos is my 2-minute montages with that music that I use, and just the photos and short videos that I take. That's my favorite part of making videos. My favorite part of having a YouTube channel is the comments I receive and the connections I make. I have friends and clients who used to live in Southern California, and when they moved back to Canada, they said they prefer the Canadian climate, which I thought was crazy. But they said that in Southern California, every day is the very same, and it gets tedious and monotonous. They prefer having the 4 seasons. Kaohsiung is like that too. Every day is pretty much the same. It's perfect every day. And it kind of plays tricks with your mind, because you lose track of time, because you don't have the seasons changing. I've been in Taiwan now for I've lost track of time. I don't know how long I've been in Taiwan. I guess that means this year's trip to Taiwan is quickly coming to its conclusion. I think all in all, it's going to be about 110 days that I was in Taiwan this year, which is pretty good. My longest trip yet. The The missus said that she might want to stay another month longer, and I said that would be fine with me. So it could get extended, but probably not. Wait until I really retire. Not the semi-retired. But this year's trip has been very special for me for many reasons. One is because it's been a long time, so I've really settled in. I've also settled in because it's my 4th trip here in 5 years. So I'm just settled in. It was a good trip because the kids came and got to see Taiwan, which is nice. But mostly this year it's been special because of YouTube, because of you. I've had so many comments, and all of them positive. I don't want to jinx it, but that's unusual for being online. People have shared their stories about not being able to swim, martial law. I'm going to sit down here. This looks like a good spot to have a bun. Yeah, it's been a great visit. So many new subscribers, so many great comments. And yesterday, or actually the day before yesterday when I was hiking in the mountains, I met 2 people who watched this channel and had 2 conversations about hiking and YouTube and Taiwan, and the connections I've made through having a YouTube channel are just unbelievable. It's just so great. So it kind of begs the question, should I continue when I go to Canada? And the answer, of course, is no, because it won't be the same in Canada. But what I am strongly considering doing is starting another channel in Canada, and only talking about retirement and how to retire, essentially, how to ease into retirement. Because you know me, I like to ease into things. If I did that, I'd put a link here, and I suppose if you were interested, I would continue doing Chinese subtitles. But it's not a requirement, and it's much easier for me not to do the subtitles. However, it would be good for me to continue doing the subtitles. So if you're interested in that kind of channel, let me know. The breakfast place down the street's been a little random recently in terms of busyness. I'd expect today to be very busy, but it's not. So I'm wondering what's going on. I know Chinese New Year. Can I say Chinese New Year? I know Lunar New Year is coming up. So that affects everything in some way. Today wasn't busy at all. Weird. I also made connections to other YouTubers, which is thrilling. Cole Fogel, of course, that was a chance meeting. But then Lucas actually subscribed to my channel, which I find extra thrilling. There were 2 other YouTubers that I watch from time to time, and that commented on my videos, and we had short conversations online. So the connections made by having a YouTube channel this trip have been unbelievable. So I will continue again next year when I come back to Taiwan, or this year when I come back to Taiwan in the autumn. Maybe I'll stay for 4 months next winter. And I've learned a few things about the Taiwanese and Taiwan's history this trip. Things I knew but didn't know as deeply I don't like to get political. I don't understand politics. I don't follow politics. So I knew that there was martial law in Taiwan, and I knew that included things like curfews. And when I first got to Taiwan in 1989, there were still soldiers stationed on all the bridges. So the bridge to Banqiao and the bridge to Sanchong from Taipei would have soldiers guarding the bridges all night. And I think that was left over from martial law times and the White Terror. So it was interesting for me this trip to learn a little bit more about that, go a little bit deeper in that, because it impacted something that still prevalent today, and that's that the Taiwanese don't swim. It's left over from martial law days, which is surprising, but it makes sense. So martial law and the Kuomintang coming to Taiwan and the 50 years that the Japanese were here, that's all part of Taiwan's history, which means it's all part of the psyche of the present-day Taiwanese. When I first got to Taiwan, I lived up in Waishuangxi, just north of Taipei, and I used to go hiking in the mountains even back then, and all the old people in the mountains in the morning would be speaking Japanese to each other. At the time I thought that was strange, and I knew that the Japanese had controlled Taiwan for 50 years, but I never really gave it as much thought as like how that would change the dynamics of everything, family life, work life, everything. So having a YouTube channel and asking questions and getting comments leads to a lot of learning, which is great. So next year, or later this year when I come back in the autumn for season 5, I hope to learn a lot more about Taiwan. And regarding politics, I had a couple of comments from the 50-cent army, the Umaus, that I essentially just ignored. But what's interesting about that is two things. You can leave comments if you like about politics, but two things. One is, you're never going to win an emotional argument with logic. Okay? So even if your argument is logical, you're not going to win the argument, because Taiwan's status as a country is an emotional issue. It's not a logical issue. You can't logically win it. The other thing is, you're never going to change anyone's mind online. So if you leave me a comment and you're hoping to change my mind or anyone's mind, that's not going to happen online, because it's just not the right venue for changing minds. Can you imagine? You leave a comment on somebody's YouTube channel and that person goes, "Oh yeah, you're right, I was wrong all this time." Can you see that happening? That's just not going to happen. I think I have to pontificate a little bit now. I think to have a successful YouTube channel, or to find your audience, you have to be authentic and honest. People are interested in what others are thinking. A lot of the YouTube channels, and I'm not criticizing, but I am, are very superficial. They're introducing the 5 best night markets in Kaohsiung, or a visit to the tea farm, or I don't know, just stuff that's very superficial. For me, I just ramble. This is an old style video log, a vlog. It's all about what I'm thinking. One of the guys I met in the mountains said he likes to listen to me ramble about things that are on my mind. That's pretty much what this channel has become. And that's fine. Because, again, it's mostly for me. But I think about you.